Hi students, welcome to our highlights video for week 7. This video is going to be shorter than the previous weeks because we just have to cover 3 chapters from Robin Williams' book, The Non-Designer's Design Book. The chapters that we were reading for today concerned typography, font face, and the different exciting things you can do with this elemental component of much of the technical writing, professional communication, and documentation that you interact with on an everyday basis. Of course, images and other design features are important as well, but when you go to a website that's used so much and has become in effect ubiquitous, like Amazon.com, you can think about how type is used on that page to enhance the usability and the navigability of that site so that the millions of consumers who visit it every day can find the information that they need. So as we've hopefully established in this class so far, something like the Amazon.com website is usable because of a combination of design, effective architecture, and the very things that it says that help users know that they can access the information that they want without too much frustration. So let's talk about type. Type is the building block of a printed page, right? In fact, I've used type on this very slide that I'm showing to you right now. Why does it matter for a technical communicator who is interested in usability to be concerned about type? Why should you think about it? Of course, you're all emerging technical communicators, and you want to make the outputs that you're creating as easily accessible, as intuitive as possible, and decisions about type are really crucial for you to consider. So as Williams says, type on a page can be concordant, conflicting, or contrasting. I want you to be sure that you can go into the textbook and you can find the definitions of those 3 words there that I've shared, concordant, conflicting, and contrasting, as they pertain to decisions about type. So what challenges emerge with conflicting font faces? That's the middle term here, and I'm highlighting it because I want you to be able to discern why conflicting is not exactly what we're going for. So there are lots of ways to use contrast effectively, however, when we are referring to the incorporation of type. The big terms that Williams brings to you are size, weight, structure, form, direction, and color. But before she delves into those seriously, she wants you to know that there are basic categories of typefaces. These are old style, modern, slab serif, sans serif, script, and decorative. Now, is there a time and a place for these different fonts or typefaces? Yes, there is. Everyone typically knows the quip about using Comic Sans. That's a sans serif font, and it's a pretty famous one. Using sans serif fonts, specifically funny ones like Comic Sans, in a very serious context, like in a warning sign, for example. That would not be the right time and place to use Comic Sans. So let's look at the next slide here, which is the periodic table of typefaces. I found this to be really fun, and I've shared the link below this YouTube video. So if you visit the link, because I'm sure it's pretty hard to read on the actual video itself, you can go back. If you quickly click back here, I want you to see if you can identify old style, modern, slab serif, sans serif, script, and decorative fonts. And of course, decorative fonts themselves can be sans serif. These aren't exclusive. A font can be 2 of these things at the same time, perhaps. So if you take a look at this periodic table of typefaces, you will see that there's lots of different ones, and there's some that you've probably used on a regular basis, like Arial or Times New Roman, and some of the ones that Williams discusses in her book are included here. The other thing that I want you to do is go to Microsoft Word or PowerPoint or Google Docs or whatever it is that you use to write content, and click down on the font selecting menu, the drop-down menu, and see whether you're able to better understand those different typefaces on the basis of the information that you've gleaned from this chapter. Okay, so let's return to the terms that help guide us towards creating contrast. So you can create contrast with size of your typeface, weight, structure, form, direction, and color. So this is just a quick image that I took with my phone of a little flyer that I received when I was going to renew my passport. And the flyer says, your journey begins with a U.S. passport. And then it says, United States Department of State, travel.state.gov. Now, if you pause the video, I want you to think about now what style of typeface is used in the most obvious phrase here, your journey begins with a U.S. passport, and what kind of typeface is used to write United States Department of State? Do these create different feelings? I'll just tell you, one is a serif font and one is a sans serif font. We have font in white, we have font in blue, dark blue, and we have font in light blue. So if you go back to this previous slide and you see that there are different kinds of typefaces, old style, modern, slab serif, sans serif, script, and decorative, I want you to then use those terminologies to explore what is going on in this government produced document. Also think about these contrast creating qualities. Size, what size of typeface do you see? What size of type is being used in this flyer? What is the weight? What is the structure, form, direction, or color? You're going to also apply those same methods of inquiry on this next flyer that I have included. Now, this was something that I collected months ago, and it concerns non-essential travel during spikes in the coronavirus pandemic. So I collect these things as I go through my daily life, and I save them on my desk so I can use them with my technical communication students. So it came in handy today. So this is a great example of a government document that intends to share information with a broad array of citizens. How is typeface used in this document, and how is important information emphasized? How is design used to enhance the usability of this flyer? We have used a lot of examples in this class so far of websites or apps or different kinds of things that are digital that you encounter on a daily basis that have to be usable and intuitive in order for you to achieve the result that you're hoping to achieve. But there are lots of things that we still receive in a physical form, like this flyer, which I don't know exactly where I picked up, but I retained it because I wanted to think about how design elements are used here, how the wording is created in order to make the information unmistakable for the readers who are collecting this information as well. But today I've shared this because I want you to think about some of these elements concerning type and contrast that are used in this document to make it usable for all the different citizens who are going to acquire this in their daily experience. Citizens, non-citizens, people who are traveling through the United States, people who speak English, people who speak Spanish. If you turn this over, this same information with the exact same design is conveyed in Spanish. So of course that sends a certain message as well concerning who the government document designers and composers of this intended for it to be usable to. But if we just scrutinize this on the basis of typeface and we go back to our terms here, size, weight, structure, form, direction, and color, you can see that we can look at this document through the lens of all of those terms. So on that note, I'm going to conclude this video, and I will say, as I typically do, see you in next week's video.